So I don't do updates on all the AI tools when it comes to all of them because there's so many of them. And I really don't think it's fair to bombard people with all the updates. Now, if you are AI specific and all you do is look at tools, this is something that you need to do. It is moving and grooving faster than we ever thought possible. But what I do is I focus on things that are going to make my business, my clients, and my community better. And so this new tool that I am about to share with you guys that I did a full deep dive into and that I am going to be giving a bit of a demo to a little bit later is going to be a game changer for us. And I hate that term because it feels so cliche, but cliches are there for a reason because it's such a big difference. So let me share my screen. I want to share with you how ChatGPT, which to be fair, I have been in a long-term loving relationship with Nano Banana, Nano Banana 2, Nano Banana Pro since it first came out last year. I think it was released and I spent almost 24 hours straight playing with it, using it within regards to how I create AI imaging, how I work with identity, creating that emotional connection when it comes to images. And Nano Banana was just so good. So if you've been on any of my community calls, if you're ever on one of my Q&A calls, if you're ever in my sphere, I often am like, the answer is Nano Banana. The answer is Nano Banana, to the point where I was like, this is getting ridiculous. But it was that good. Well, now, ooh, I have to tell you, Chat Image 2 has done some incredible changes. So let me share my screen. I'm going to share all of this with you guys. So again, first of all, within the AI Identity Lab, which is the community that I am in, whether it is with the group of us in there, or if you've got your own images or you're learning or you want to learn, this is what I want to think about. Okay. The first and most important thing is photo realism. Okay. This prompt is so important when it comes to working within the Chat Image 2.0. So here's some examples that I gave. Okay, so I did this exact prompt with and without it. And the difference really is a significant difference. And I want to show you this. So here you go. This is create an image of a street photo of a bustling market in Mexico captured in natural daylight, et cetera, et cetera. No photorealism in this picture. And don't get me wrong, this is a good photo. I mean, I'm happy with this. It's not terrible, but when I come down to adding the photorealism into the prompt, look at this one. Like I mean, look at this guy. Let me see if I can get this. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, you can see his words on his shirt, on their backpack. You can see facial features all the way back there. Look at this. You can actually see in Agua Fresca, this is what you've got here. Like, it is just by far a better image. Okay, so that's the first thing. Here's every model has its quirks, and this happens to be one of them. So here is a realistic photo of a dolphin who is bartending, mixing 3 cocktails. Don't even ask. This is just for me to have fun with it. Okay, you can see that there are some really cool features on their outfits. It's an underwater bar, all of these things. There's a few errors here, just as AI does sometimes, but that's not a bad image, not a bad image. But now if you see, and I add AI photo realism on there, look at this. There is slick water on this dolphin. You know, there are some really interesting, look at this in the background. I mean, it's obviously taking Atlantis as kind of an idea. Here we go. If you look really closely into some of their features, into their drinks, it's a really, really good image. So again, all I did was I added photorealism to that one. And so I've tested this multiple times, and it does really make a difference. So here is a 1964 red Mustang flipping through the air above the nighttime scene. Okay. And you can see, it's a great little space here. The Mustang image is there. I love this. It's showing some really good parking signs over here, that kind of thing. It looks great. Now, if I were to show you with the photorealism, just look at these details. Okay, look at these details. The car explosion, Chase Bank in the background there, the car behind it, like, it's just so, so good. So again, just because we have to add this to the prompt, it just will get you a much, much better information for you to get through this. So that's the very first thing that I found to be different. So the editing capability that should have been standard, in my opinion, from the start, has now been updated. So this one isn't a breakthrough. This one to me is more of a catch up, because let's be honest, one of the things that Nano Banana is so good at is changing, updating, editing little pieces. So this was just giving you an example, right? Give me a fairy on a unicorn. And then I said, add a sword in her hand. And then I said, make her a man. Super, super simple changes and should be super easy to do. But the old chat did not let it happen. So this is just a catch up, in my opinion. All right. So Nano Banana has been doing it really well from the beginning, from way back. And I say way back because the way the AI moves, it could be 100 years ago, at that way back when I was young, right? But I've tested it, giving it a weapon, handling the instructions. The character stayed consistent throughout. And this really does matter when you're doing work, right? When you're doing work and you want to have the consistency of the images, of the characters throughout the images. All right. So taking multiple photos and building something new with them. Again, I've tested this out, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting. I put together a grid. It had a dog, it had sunglasses, it had some outfits, it had some art, and it had my husband and I. And so basically the idea was that I didn't want anything to be changed. I wanted to be in a pretty significant, so combine all these items into one cohesive image. And it did pretty good. When I first tested this one out with Nano Banana, when it started, it was okay. It wasn't fantastic. So this is similar, right? There's a little bit of confusion in the actual face. If I kind of come in here, you can tell that these are definitely not us anymore from the picture. But look at the detail of the artwork, the dog with the sunglasses on. This is such a good representation of what I was asking. And so really, when it comes to that physical reference photo of yourself, that's a great place to work with. Now, does this, I think, get better if I kept doing some editing to the prompt? Yes, but I wanted to show you guys at the very bare minimum of Chat 2.0 versus Nano Banana. So that's why I wanted to send this to you. Now, here is where Chat has done some incredible things. The text problem has basically been solved. And that really is a big deal, because if you've spent time creating beautiful images and doing all of these things, and then you kind of work in and you're like, what in the hell word is that? So this is my image that I did for neural networks. It's hilarious. I have no idea if any of this is right, but you can see all of the lettering, all of even this little small stuff in red and blue, hidden layer one. All of it is absolutely on point. So forward, past, again, I don't know if this is correct. And I just brought in a already AI image of myself to make it look funny. So it was a really good way. And you can see my prompt was super simple. Create an image with the woman uploaded, pointing at a whiteboard covered in math and diagrams explaining neural networks. That's all I said. So it really did a good job. Now, the other one that I did with coming into was this beautiful AI movie poster. Okay, so take a look at this. You can look at some of the detail on here, looking at the, her ex is great on paper. His upgrade is loyal, drama, always learning. Obviously, I made it a bit of a funny one, but you can see here, Escape Studios presents rom-com design. Like, look at that. The words are all really, really, really good. There's no weird letters, no made up words, anything like that. So for people who are using AI to create that beautiful visual content, it changes the output for us, because then we're not, trying to figure out how to fix the words and how to go from there. This actually makes it so that the words are existing there for you. Now, here's an interesting one though. What I found with Chat to Image 2 is it actually has a thinking mode. And so with a thinking mode, it means that it's actually taking what you say and thinking about it first, which is just incredible. So when I actually put in some information here in the prompt, I put very little information in. Okay, so I ran a test asking for a detailed infographic on HeyGen to Claude workflow. It spent 7 minutes planning, pulling sources, checking what it was publicly disclosed, and deciding what to include. And then look at this. Now it says script input. Again, look at the words. Like this is an image, guys. This is an image created by AI. And I found 2 or 3 tiny mistakes in here, but overall, like idea to script to HeyGen video to Claude Code automation, like this is not me telling it anything. It went and looked for this information and brought it into this AI post. It's the same with this one here. So what's the new release? I didn't put anything into it except for my image, and it decided on the name. It decided on what that looked like. Just really, really, really good. So it does more accurate. And again, when it comes to having wrong information, we want to make sure that it's not wrong for everybody who's doing this. So here's where I don't think it wins, because I'm not here to tell you to delete the other tools, because ChatGPT wins on accurate text inside imaging. Okay, it's research-backed infographics, so good. Photorealism, I loved it as long as you use your term. Consistency across multiple images for the same character and person. Some of these should have been in this in version 1. They should have been, because they could not compete with Nano Banana. But here's where Nano Banana still wins. Certain aesthetic styles, specific artistic modes, and some style matching scenarios. So neither wins both. So I want you to understand that one tool does not do all the things. No matter how many times somebody tells you that, one tool is not the thing, right? I use Claude for certain things. I use ChatGPT for certain things. I use Gemini, Nano Banana for certain things. You need to decide which one works best. And so why does this matter, right? If you've been frustrated by infographics and looks of how to find and looking for the errors in the models, those type of things, you're going to want to take a look deeper into the AI Identity Lab with us, or into Chat Image 2.0 on your own, because it really does make a huge difference. So add that photorealism in there for sure, turn it on to thinking mode and other tools. So again, at this point, we're past keeping up to date is optional, but you do not need every single tool. You don't, because there's a gap between how people understand them and then how they change and what's going on with them. And that gap is widening fast and furious. But here's the thing. If you do AI images like I do, if you do video like I do, if you create identity and visualization like I do, we need to make sure that we're in the right tool set for using all of those images. But if you are looking to do more about automation, or you want to know more about productivity, then finding the tools that work for you. Put on those blinders and work on the tools that make sense for you, and find one that works. Okay, it is the most important thing. Now, on Thursday, inside the AI Identity Lab, I am going to be doing a full demo on how I use it in my own imaging, how I use it when it comes to hyper-realistic images, visualization, and as well as your visibility within your social media. If you are interested in joining, or you're ready to try something new, come and join us in the AI Identity Lab this week so you can get in on that. But just remember, there's a few things that make it quirky, but there's also some things that make it so much better than it did before. And this is your opportunity to see it and find it and try it out and really embrace it. But if images are not your thing right now, don't go down the rabbit hole. That is my one piece of advice when it comes to AI. Anyways, guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you inside the lab if you are coming on Thursday. Take care.